Hi, we're going to talk about Lucretius books 1 through 3. That was our reading for this past week. And one thing that we want to try to tell you and learn a little bit about Lucretius. His full name is Titus Lucretius Carus. He's a Roman philosopher, and one of his best known writings was for this philosophical poem on the nature of things. He wrote this poem in the 1st century BCE, and that's a little bit about him. In book 1, he was writing this poem to essentially help people from fear and help get relief from fear of different gods and death, because at that time people really were having trouble with it, and he wanted to explore ways of explaining how the universe was made of atoms and void, and how everything occurs by natural causes rather than the divine will. The universe has no creator, no end. Before I can move any farther, that's one topic that we really would have to look at. The universe has no creator and no end. Kind of backwards from the way we think, right? Nothing comes from nothing. It's just rearranged. He discussed with this what he called the swerve, and how can things just they're just rearranged, and the universe it's just full of atoms and void. One thing though, we can say his arguments for atoms were far ahead of his time. I believe that he was talking in means that were above where he was. But was his thoughts just an assumption? If nothing comes from nothing, where did atoms come from? Did the universe emerge from nothing? I don't know, just some thoughts, right? In book 2, he talked about atoms differ in shape, weight, and motion. He explained how human beings are not the center of the universe, and in that, how knowledge at nature frees us from superstition and fear. Book 2, it was a little bit tougher. He rejected teleology very powerfully, and argued for self-regulating universe. But he definitely was repetitive at times. Even it could be like a spontaneous generation. We'll move on to book 3. He discussed means of the soul is material made of fine atoms, and the soul will die with the body. That it's not going to that we're not just going to die, but our soul is going to die with the body. That it will not live. That there is no afterlife. That death it ends all of our sensation. Everything ends with death. The fear of death, though, he said was irrational, and it was harmful to human happiness. I would say that, that his thoughts on this, offers probably one of the strongest arguments against fear of death. But in those arguments, I don't think they would come for those seeking spiritual or religious meaning. That is, it'd be just be pointing away from that, right? That's not with this reading. This reading was a good blend of science, philosophy, and poetry, aiming to free the mind of fear. I want to leave you with two questions. If death is truly the absence of sensation, as Lucretius claims, why do people still fear it? And does reason alone suffice to overcome that fear? One more question too. Do you think Lucretius would fit in today's culture with the way his thoughts go and his thoughts on no afterlife?